Texas Geico agents. It's time to get warmed up for Week 7 of Texas high school football. Feel that cool air out there? That means we are getting closer and closer to the postseason, and everyone is starting to get ramped up for that final playoff push. District 9-6A looks like it could be a battle between the upstart Prosper Eagles and the perennial power Allen. But before Prosper takes on Allen, they have to get through Jesuit this week. As of now, Allen is still the top dog in 9-6A, but there are two other teams tied for first with them, and they go at it this Friday. Prosper has been the buzz as they outscored their opponents by 166 points. They've been led by the steadiness of quarterback Jackson Berry and a stout defense that has only given up an average of 12 points per game. The Rangers are coming around. After losing their first two games, they have won 3 straight. Running back E.J. Smith was dinged up for the first couple of games, but he's been tearing things up as of late. Another big matchup in 6-6A this week is Hebron visits Flower Mound Marcus. The Hawks ran out to a 31-13 lead over Coppell before holding on for the win. Their defense and their running attack is what makes Hebron so dangerous, and they'll need that against Marcus. The Marauders are 2-0 in district as well, but the weak part of the schedule is over and it's time to go up against the big dogs. This should be a good one. Another team about to get tested after a soft early schedule is Mansfield Summit. The Jags are undefeated but have not played anyone. Last year, they shocked Cedar Hill with a 7-3 upset win. They got the Longhorns again this Friday, but it's a much hungrier Cedar Hill squad. Look for Quinn Bright and Caden Salter to have a big game in a Cedar Hill victory. Other key matchups to look out for are Arlington at Bowie and a nice taps battle between Parish Episcopal and Bishop Dunn. Of the 11 games we are shooting this week, one player will emerge as our MVP bobblehead winner. Let's take a look at who could have a big game this week. We'll be at Duncanville's home game with Lake Highlands and look for Panther athlete Roderick Daniels to come up big. Daniels is a big play waiting to happen, whether it's receiving, running, or on special teams. He enjoys his trip to the house. How about Arlington's Chris Sims? He's the quarterback for the job for the Colts this year and has made the most of it. He's thrown for over 1,100 yards and 19 touchdowns to go along with 3 more touchdowns on the ground. Sims should have a nice game as the Colts take on Bowie. If Haltom is to upset Trinity for a second straight year, it's going to take a strong ground game from Kenneth Cormier. He ran for 199 yards last week in a loss to Weatherford, but if he can get going, look out for another Buffalo upset. With the South Lake Carroll win over Geyer this past weekend, let's see how the rankings have been shaken up. Duncanville is cruising along at number 1 as they crush Skyline 61-0. The Panther defense is playing out of this world so far. The Dragons of South Lake Carroll jump up 2 spots with their win over Geyer to number 2. Sophomore quarterback Quinn Ewers has complete control over the Dragon offense. Bye week for Allen, but they remain at 3 as they take on Plano East Friday. Moving up to 4 is DeSoto, who had the week off before this week's game with Mansfield. Rounding out the top 5 is Denton Geyer. The Wildcats dropped 3 spots due to their loss to Carroll, as they couldn't overcome 4 turnovers. 5A sees Lone Star still leading the way after the Rangers demolished Wakeland. Garrett Rangel to Marvin Mims is turning out to be one of DFW's most lethal connections. The Rangers will take on Independence in a battle for first place Thursday night. Denton Ryan's still waiting on competition as they rocked Newman Smith 68-0. Raiders are at 2. Highland Park with the week off remains at 3. They take on Mansfield Legacy Friday. Alita remains at 4, but just barely. They needed overtime to beat Midlothian and keep their 86-game district winning streak alive. Finishing out the top 5 is Lancaster, as they will take on Sunset and Bryan Adams before they get into the meat of their schedule. We're not done yet. We have a lot to get through in our Extra Points segment. Our team of the week had quite the post-game celebration. Riley Dodge decided to go team surfing in the locker room after the Dragons' big win over Denton Guyer. Saxy's head coach Mark Behrens locked in win number 100 last week versus Naaman Forest. Coach Behrens is the only head coach to ever have coached the Mustangs since the school opened in 2002, and it was a huge milestone for him and his staff. I know we are in full swing of football season, but basketball season is right around the corner. So, from the hoops world, 4-star athlete Jacoby Coles from Denton Guyer chose where he will be taking his talents to college. Coles announced that he will be a Butler Bulldog after graduating. And though us TCU fans are very upset that we did not land Coles, we here at IHSS are excited to see what's next for him. That's all we have for this week's episode. To follow all things inside high school sports, follow our social media accounts. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. That'll keep you in the loop on everything going on around the Metroplex. Until the best 30 minutes of your sports weekend comes on Saturday at 5 p.m. on NBC5. That's Wingstop Inside High School Sports, hosted by Pat Doney. Thank you for watching The Warm-Up, presented by your local North Texas Geico agents. To find the office nearest you, go to geico.com/DFW. I'm Ashley Bullington, and Week 7 is upon us. I hope you're warmed up and ready to go for all the gridiron action.